Welcome back to the channel. Our journey this week takes us to Knysna Forest. Have you ever stepped into a place so ancient and alive that it feels like it's breathing with you? That's the Knysna Forest, tucked along South Africa's southern coast. It's the country's largest stretch of indigenous forest, a green world that once stretched unbroken for hundreds of kilometers. Today, though much reduced, it still covers the hills and valleys around Knysna in a cloak of mystery. But this forest is more than just beauty. It carries stories. For centuries, the Knysna Forest was home to woodcutters, men who lived and labored in harsh conditions, felling trees for a living. Today, when you walk the trails, you're retracing the steps of those who knew both hardship and enchantment of this place. So I'm shooting this episode during the December summer holidays here in South Africa, and because it is summer holidays and people are out and about where they enjoying their holidays, it is custom for us to pre-book campsites to avoid disappointment. Now, this particular campsite I'm actually going to is in the Knysna Forest, and until yesterday I totally forgot to actually book the campsite. So there were one campsite available. I took it, but I'm not sure that specific transaction went through. So I'm now on my way there and just hoping that there is a campsite available. If there isn't, then we'll have to go to a campsite that I've reserved for day 2 on this trip. And then hopefully that they have an extra night for me at that campsite. Other than that, I think I'm a little bit in trouble because I didn't pre-book an actual campsite, as it is required for this time of the year because of the holiday season. I am going to do the black marked route on the elephant trail here in the Knysna Forest. And this is a very hot day, but because it's in the forest, I trust that most of the walk will be in shade. This being a natural forest and not a planted one, it's quite damp at the bottom of it. But can you hear the animal life in the forest? Wow, it is so hot. It is just over 35 degrees Celsius in the shade up on top. Here in the forest, there no sun shining through onto the forest floor. Here and there, yes, there is a patch, but it's largely in the shade because of the thickness of this forest. Just completed the first kilometer of 9 kilometers. Must admit that the route is well marked. The trees along the way are also, they also have nameplates on explaining what type of tree it is. And so far it is not a difficult walk through the forest. This tree is so big and thick in diameter. You can see that it's been here hundreds of years, no doubt in that. Alright, I have finally completed the 9-kilometer hiking trail through the Knysna Forest. 1, I'm very tired. 2, when I left here it was around 35 degrees, no wind, no breeze, and it was sweaty in that forest. I'm back, seems like the cloud have moved in, and there is a threat of some sort of thunderstorm that will cool things down. The third thing is you need to have some level of fitness to actually do a trail like this. Fourth thing is drink a lot of water while you're on the trail, because it is muggy in there, really sweaty type of atmosphere, but I enjoyed it. I can recommend it to anyone that have some level of fitness, because it is long. It took me 2.5 hours. So here we have a steam engine that was used in the early 1900s for two main purposes. One, to extract wood logs that were cut in this area, and the second thing that this steam engine was used for was to also provide power when it wasn't in use to actually extract the logs. It was mainly used 2 days a week for the extraction of logs. This is a really old oak, eh? Early 1900s. And here we have a skeleton of an elephant bull. It was found in 1983. Estimation is about 10 years after it died that they found this skeleton. And look how well preserved it still is. So Europeans first arrived around this part of the world in the 15th and 16th centuries, mainly as sailors that are on their way to the east as part of the route around the Cape. Now these people, obviously over time, they started to inhabit this part of the world, which was mainly untouched. This forest was probably 100 times bigger than what it is today. And over time, they have cut down the trees as part of the furniture businesses in Europe, where they have shipped the logs to such amount that the forests have quickly been reduced in size. By 1876, there was about 400 to 500 elephants still in this forest. Today, sadly, there's only one left. They have tried to introduce some other elephants from other parts, like the Kruger National Park. They've tried to introduce here, and it wasn't a success. So sadly, there's one elephant left, and when that one goes, obviously the elephants will then be totally distinct from large numbers before 1876, because the woodcutters have then also depleted the numbers by 1876, as they were hunting these elephants in this thick forest. So traces of inhabitants living in this area have been found to be for about 1 million years. So there's been more than 1 million years that there was some form of life that were living in this part of the country, or this part of Africa. These people then, over the years, where they have lived only in the actual caves along the coast, which is really not far from where I'm now, they have lived off the forest in terms of its plant species as well as animal life that the actual forest offered. Okay, so that's our little history here from the Knysna Forest. We are approaching what they call the big tree. This is the last of the few giant trees which were very common 200-300 years ago, of this type of tree in the forest. Today there isn't many of them left, but this particular one is estimated to be 600 plus years old. It is 36.9 meters high, and it's got a spread of 35.6 meters. What's also very nice to see are these raised flooring through the forest. The forest has been made accessible by the forestry department for people to come and do some hikes. Here is about 3 very well laid out hiking trails of about 3 hours each through the forest, and you've seen how I did it yesterday. Then there are also a number of mountain biking trails around the forest, also very well marked and laid out, giving you a variety of entertainment in and around the forest. You have the big trees to actually come and have a look at. There are hiking trails, there are mountain bike trails. The trees are numbered and a description with their names on, so that you can have a better understanding of these trees. Are all around the forest, very educational, and giving that vibe of just the enjoyment of coming into a forest, and that when you leave here, you have learned something. They have also tried to make this environment a family-friendly environment. Here you can dry your meat, place to sit, and then a thresh bin. So friends, when you come to an environment like this, be respectful. Treat it with respect. Leave no fingerprint behind. Leave no traces behind. Only take your memories with you. Our forefathers had the insight and foresight to preserve an environment like this. It's now our duty to preserve the same environment for the generations that will come after us, so that they, just like us today, have the privilege to enjoy this forest. Right, we're going up a steep climb towards a viewing point that takes us above the tree line of the forest. You need a high clearance vehicle for this activity and to come up here, but I will go as far as to say that you need a four-wheel drive vehicle to do this. It will just give you better traction. I do think that you may spin a lot in a 4x2. How beautiful was that, eh? Yeah, that was really, really cool stuff. Now, this mist is rolling in quite fast, so I couldn't spend much time on this viewpoint because I'm very much concerned about the mist that's rolling in and the visibility that I may have on this mountain. So I'm getting off the viewpoint quickly, well, as quick as I can and safely as well. And then I need to get off the mountain as soon as I can, because I can just imagine on these switchbacks that visibility is going to be very poor, and safety will then be my primary concern at that point. Not just mine, but also for fellow travelers, that we must keep each other safe on this mountain. But I need to get off it quickly, because this mist is rolling in fast. The Knysna Forest isn't just a pocket of trees. It's a living museum, a sanctuary of biodiversity, and a place where human history and natural history intertwine. To step into it is to feel the weight of time, the fragility of wilderness, and the wonder of what remains.